welcome back to Fun in Our RV. Well, today it's going to be upgrade fun in our RV. We're going to be putting these vent covers on top of our vents. Now, how important are vent covers? How important is ventilation? Well, first off, ventilation in your RV is almost crucial. You need ventilation there, you need fresh air, you need to be able to get smells out of like the bathroom or the kitchen, cooking smells and things like that. And if, let's say you're holed up inside because, you know, it's raining a little bit at your campground. Well, you still need to be able to do it. And these things will allow you to do just that. It allows you to open up your vents without rain getting into your RV. And let's face it, moisture, condensation, that kind of thing on the walls of your RV, that's a bad thing, all right? So we're gonna put these on today. All right, we've chosen the MaxxAir vent covers. We could have also gone with the Camco covers. They mount almost the exact same way, so you can take this and use this information on either one of them. Now, before we go any further, I got to tell you this thing I like to tell you, and that is I'm not an expert. Sometimes you want to get an expert to help you do something to your RV, some kind of repair or upgrade. I'm not an expert. We're going to learn how to do this together, and these are pretty straightforward. I think it's not going to be that difficult. So, like I said, not an expert, learn together. Here we go. All right, good deal. I was worried about how sturdy this roof was going to be for me walking around on it. I got to tell you, it feels very sturdy. I don't have any problem walking around on here at all. You know, I thought it was going to be like flimsy sheet metal. There's no problem at all working on here. I'm excited about that. All right, now, I can't believe how straightforward this is. Now, the first thing they say to do, of course, is to put these on facing towards the rear like so. All right, I've got that one just a little, I need to lower it just a little bit, but that'll be okay. We'll do that in a second. But the question is, how do I know that I have it actually centered front to back and all this type of stuff? Well, that's a good question. One way you could do it would be to make lines, say, here like this, so that I can tell where the vent actually starts and stops. I can do it this way, that way. When I have the vent cover on here, I can tell that it's centered by looking at these lines. But you know what? I don't think we're going to have to do that. I think it's easy enough just to put that on there. Now, if my camera person will go down and close this this one just a little bit, and probably the other one too, that'll be great. All right, step number one, with it facing towards the rear, put it on here and you get it as centered as you can. Step number two is pretty simple. Once it's on there, you think it's pretty centered. Okay, step number two is mark these holes. All right, I have the holes marked, and they seem to be in really good place. All right, when I first thought about the idea of putting covers over these vents, like most of us, I suspect, I pictured drilling holes in the roof and then having to bolt something on, like the cover itself, and then putting silicone on it or something that sounded really bad. Turns out that's not the way you do it. What we're going to do is we're going to bolt these little, I don't know what you want to call them, brackets onto the side of the vent itself, and then we bolt the cover onto this. No drilling in the through the roof at all. Both this one, the MaxxAir, and the Camco work exactly the same way. I mean, I'm just so relieved to see that. And all you have to do is just drill a hole. Now, the reason why we mark these places where the holes are in the actual cover itself is so we can line up these things to a hole. And once we do that, then we'll bolt it in. So anyway, there we go. It looks pretty good. It's right on the end, just exactly how we want it. I could move this here if I wanted to, and it would still work. I can move this back a little bit, still work. So we've got this covered, all right? So here we go. Make sure when you're drilling these holes for these screws that are going to hold this flange in, that you do it as high as you can within the flange, because if you don't, it goes into the plastic liner that's down here below, and that makes it hard to put the nut and the lock washer on. Or at least it would. I got lucky and I got it high enough. And what you're going to end up doing is you have a carriage bolt here that goes now into this slot. Because this is such a long slot, and we've marked where the actual holes are on the plastic cover, we can move the carriage bolt to where we need it. I've tightened that down just a little too tight. You can do one of two things. You can either keep this just barely finger tight until you get the carriage bolt in, or you can put the carriage bolt in there before you even put the these screws in. Now, these aren't really that tight in the hole. I'm just doing them that way because then what holds them is the actual nut and lock washer. As you can see, I put the carriage bolts in the flanges there, then I put a lock washer and this knurled lock washer, and then all I have to do is tighten it up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some fingernail polish or some Loctite on there to make sure that doesn't come off. Do the same thing for the parts inside, and there you go. You've got a vent cover, and you can enjoy fresh air even if it's raining outside. What do you think? Pretty cool, huh? Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. As always, please hit that button to subscribe and the like button, and maybe that alert bell or something like that, so you'll get alerts when I post things like this. So anyway, you know how much we need it. We know how, you got to know how much we appreciate you watching our channel. So see you next time, see you on the road, or see you for the next upgrade. Thanks a lot.
It just thundered and I'm on a lightning rod.
I noticed that. Is it really thundering?